Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alice.
Hey now.
Greg, what are you doing here?
Hey, what do you mean? Allison,
Where'd you come from, Greg?
I came from the world of childish, and I just want to make sure that your listeners know that you're just as wonderful on the other podcast you do.
What if they don't have kids?
Don't need them. You don't need them. A lot of our listeners actually tell us they don't have kids. We talk about sex.
We talk about all sorts of dirty stuff,
Yeah.
but also parenting stuff.
Yeah, so.
Check out Childish. New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Maybe I should have got you fixed. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm very excited to introduce my guests. They are the host of the podcast Add to Cart. It is Kulap Vilaysack and SuChin Pak. And Kulap has been on my show a few times, so you guys are probably very familiar with her, but she is an actress, comedian, writer, director, showrunner, creator of the very funny show Bajillion Dollar Properties, former host of the podcast Who Charted, and she created and made the movie Origin Story, which if you haven't seen, you have to go see. Keep some Kleenex near you because you will tear up, if not outright cry, but you'll be moved by the experience and a better person for it. And SuChin, who this is her first time on the show.
Yes.
My first time meeting you, but I am familiar with you because you're a longtime journalist and former MTV news correspondent. And I am very Gen X, so this is like thrilling for me.
Yeah.
Hello to both of you and welcome. And I would be remiss if I did not also introduce my producer, Tony Thaxton. Hello.
Hello. It's been a long time since I've been here on a Monday.
Yeah. So full disclosure, when we were recording in person, slightly over a year ago, Tony would always come to the Monday shows and I would chat with him before we started about important things like whether there were any termites in my studio and it's a whole long story. But then, this story that I'm about to tell is right up there with termites in terms of who cares. But he has not been on the Monday shows lately, just the Thursday shows. But then today I said, I need Tony here. I need, this thing where I record and I send it to him. I'm not feeling up to it. We need an injection of Tony Thaxton, and here he is.
My pleasure.
I mean, Tony is magic. That is established. You mentioned Origin Story. Thank you. And Tony did some drumming on the soundtrack of it.
That's true.
And the big single, the
hit single?
our corner of the world, the hit single.
It's the song over the end credits, right?
That's right.
Thank
you so much.
I didn't know that. I loved the music, and I knew that Michael Cassidy, oh my God, what's the word for when you write music?
He was the co-composer.
Yes, composed.
Yes.
That was the word I was going for. But I didn't know that our own Tony Thaxton played drums. That's really cool. SuChin, do you feel left out?
No, not at all. I'm just taking the full Tony injection on Mondays in, it's lovely to be here.
I know it's kind of breathtaking. It's like a jolt for the start of your week. Although at this point, all the days, are you experiencing that? All the days blending?
Yes. A smoothie. And sometimes it don't taste so great.
That's right. It's a slurry of Groundhog Day again and again. So I love Add to Cart. How did you guys meet and talk me through sort of the genesis of this podcast?
We met while being organizers for Time's Up for the Asian American spoke of the group, and we're friends for maybe like a year and a half before we had dinner at an Italian restaurant right before lockdown.
Oh wow!
And we're like, hey, like podcast.
Kind of.
Yeah, right, SuChin? I mean, how you talk about our genesis?
Well, yeah, we were thinking about doing a podcast together, some ideas were batted around, and we decided that we wanted to do a podcast with as little effort as possible.
Yes.
With as little, for me, important as
also for me, SuChin.
Well, I didn't want to throw it your way, but I'm glad.
I live under that bus, sweets. I am comfortable and I'm not going anywhere.
I have a journalism background, so doing research and working hard is not out of my repertoire, but I didn't feel like doing it. So we were like, what could we talk about that could even be remotely interesting to anybody else, but most importantly, fun for us and no work? Shopping. Yeah. So we came upon this idea of like, well, why don't we talk about all the crazy stuff that we buy, all the things that we're obsessed with, whether we're watching or we're reading, and then we can talk about what it says about who we are, where we are in life, our relationships.
Very revealing. Sharing what you buy is very revealing. Stories come quite easily. Quirks, personality quirks, dysfunctions.
Bombs, really literally.
A lot of bombs get dropped casually.
Shocking, shocking truths that should probably not see the light of day, but here we are every week, just dusting them off. But it's consumption.
It's interesting though, because you guys do add to cart for things you like and then remove from cart for things you don't like. And it's not just, at one point was the idea that it would just be things that you can actually purchase.
No, it was really important to me that wasn't the case, because it also just felt like while shopping is one of the safest things to do in lockdown, that just, it felt very surface like, and I wanted to be able to kind of just talk about the why. And the how and the who.
I was more, I'm more on the let's get free stuff and shop, but I'm also right there with Kulap on the depth.
Well, because here's the difference. Like she is Asian American icon, SuChin Pak, journalist extraordinaire.
First Asian face on MTV. Not first Asian face on MTV, but first Asian correspondent on MTV, right?
Yeah. Yes. And so she's used to being the interviewer. She's not used to being the subject. Yeah. Meanwhile, origin story, Kulap has aired her dirty laundry for all to see and is available, by the way, on Blu-ray anywhere you want to get it. So that sort of, like, I knew we were going to go there, and SuChin didn't know that, like, say, last week when she showed her messy desk, that would evoke from folk.
But what did
it say about her?
What did it evoke from folk? Because from this, what's the singular of folk? Folk, I guess. From this one person, I was listening to the episode and I'm like, oh, please, please, please let this photo exist somewhere. And then otherwise I was going to email and say, can you please just send me this photo? Because I need to see like what you're considering really messy. And then you said that it was posted to the Add to Cart Instagram, and I went and looked, and I related so intensely because I am definitely a SuChin. I am messy. I don't appreciate the home edit. I also have a Kegel exerciser thing that I did literally one time. Whereas Kulap, your dedication to organization,
aesthetics, yes,
admire it, but I don't have that. I want to be that, but it's overwhelming to me, the idea of trying to organize.
Yeah. Tony, where are you from SuChin to Kulap? Where do you fall? What range?
I'm going to be totally honest. I was taking some notes and I missed a part of that.
That's the honesty of Tony Thaxton.
That's right.
Like, I don't want you to pretend. I don't want artifice from you. I want that drum beat, that heart.
Yes.
All right. Let me go grab my drums from the other room. I'll be right back.
The thrumming beat of did not hear. So let me just recap for you, Tony, and for any listener who was also taking notes, because I like to think they take their own minutes. So Kulap is very organized, and SuChin, although what we're seeing right now, this polished veneer, pretty organized bookshelf in the background, like a pretty type A.
Cut. It's a tight cut.
Type A. There's some kind of tree back there. There's a type A career thing happening, posted. And for anyone who wants to see what we're talking about, youtube.com/Allison Rosen, where this video will live, posted a photo of her messy desk with her cold, half-eaten corn tamale sitting in the corner and just like papers everywhere, an empty box of crackers. It was
Allison, please, a stapler on top of that box of crackers.
Right.
Who knew the stapler was going to take such a prominent stage?
That it would be a character.
Yeah.
Right. It's the third host of Add to Cart. Now, I get it, though, because you need horizontal surface. And even when it starts going up, you still got to set things down.
That's right.
No matter what it sits on. So anyway, the question is, are you organized or are you not?
Me. Right.
I think I'm more on the organized side.
I mean, look at your background. Look at his background.
Yeah.
Look at where Tony is sitting.
I mean, that's why I asked Tony if I'm going to be honest. Allison said she was more of a SuChin, and I looked at your background and I made a call.
Yeah.
We all did.
Right. Yeah. I try. Look, a big mess drives me crazy after a while. I'll have like little spots that I'm like, I need to get to that. But yeah,
Same.
if things are just everywhere, it makes me crazy.
But see, that's how I am too. And yet I have been living in disarray probably for my whole life. I recently remembered when I was under 10, for some reason we needed to clear off. Maybe we were getting rid of my like tiny black and white TV and getting a slightly bigger TV. I don't know. Or maybe I was getting a record, but I don't know. Now I'm making it sound like I'm really old. I was getting a Vitrola. But anyway, I had to clear off my dresser, and my mom or my dad just took everything that was on the dresser and put it into a grocery bag. And the grocery bag got moved to the garage, and like we never emptied out the grocery bag. And I never wished that I had any of that stuff. Like all of the clutter all the time, always. I feel like I could just discard it, but I don't because it's hard for me to make decisions to get rid of things. How do you do it, Kulap? And Tony, how do you guys stay organized?
I feel I do it because I feel better. I feel better when things have a harmony in my surroundings. I am very concerned with the aesthetic. I think that's very well established. But yeah, I like things. I like to be organized so that I can be relaxed. And if it's more of it is 100% self-care for me.
It's like
I'm kind of that same boat. Yeah.
I know that I would feel better when I do clean up a messy area. I do, like, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I feel so much better, and yet I don't do it. But I know on the most recent episode, you were talking about SuChin, like not valuing your own self/self-care enough to take the time to do it. For me, it's more like I just find it very challenging. I find it challenging to figure out how to do it and what to do with the stuff.
Can I also just throw in, you both have kids.
Yes.
It's just that's another layer. I understand you guys are saying like, oh, I grew up a certain, but like then you have your kids stuff too, and I have more time and energy.
Isn't it just wonderful to be seen by Kulap? I mean, it's just my pleasure and my privilege, and I'm just so grateful for it.
Yes. Thank you.
That has to be put on SuChin's messy table as well.
But these problems, I was like this before kids too, even though now it feels more insurmountable and more excusable. SuChin, were you, or did you have a neat phase?
100%. It's not like suddenly I had kids and then this person appeared. And I was thinking about it. Yes. Trying to get to the psychology of like these everyday things, like what our desks look like, what our bags look like, what are the inside of our cars look like, all these intimate spaces is really interesting. I mean, it's not something that, unless someone asks, you ever even think about. It's just the way, I mean, I'm looking at my desk right now. I mean, it's the same as it was when I sent the photo. Now, instead of a tamale, I've got 2 open boxes of hummus. Like, I don't know why there's 2. I think one I ate and I felt like it had like, a little bit of a tangy taste. And I was like, maybe not. And so then I opened a fresh thing of hummus. Anyway, it's too much. So one of the other things I was thinking about was there is something about this distraction that serves as an excuse to like get to the actual work that needs to be done sometimes for me.
Ooh, the self-awareness. I love it so.
Yeah. I was thinking about that because when you said when everything is clear, you feel great. See, when everything is clear, it's not that I don't feel great. I then have to deal with the thing that's like really important. You know what I mean? The deadline, the whatever. So it's a mixed bag. When I feel the best is while I'm clearing my desk. That's the highest of the high that I feel. Do you know what I mean? So things I'm being productive, but I'm also not doing the thing I should be doing. And so,
it shows me that I procrastinate too, but in a different way.
Right. What do you do for procrastination? Oh, wait, no, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's also part of it because I don't know if I welcome a clean desk all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm being really honest.
Kulap, what do you do for procrastination?
Social media sucks up. Oh my goodness, I must post. I have to post. I have to post in the various social medias, right? Like that's it's your
job.
And I gotta do it. Gotta do that for the show. And then I'm watching shows. Guys, it's my business. It's research. It's
the research. I love research.
It's research. Yeah. I write off my time watching all the shows and films that I do. Then it's so much, you guys. So much.
See,
yeah.
I think if we're creating a continuum, Kulap's over here, then Tony's here, then SuChin is over. Like you're more on the Allison side than the midline, but then I'm over here. And again, this is perfect for most people who are just listening to this. That whole thing I just set up, I know really came to life, where I held my hands in the air and indicated where we all are. Yeah, I'm even more SuChin-y than SuChin because I don't feel good when I'm in the midst of cleaning something up. It like makes me very tired and I want to just take a break in the middle. It's decision fatigue. It's all the rapid decisions about what to do with stuff.
Fatigue.
And especially if it involves mementos or old stuff or going down. Like I'm sure there's some sort of like, and then you can find the trauma embedded in this pile of crap or whatever. I'm sure there's all these emotions I don't want to face. I'm making it sound like I'm a hoarder. I'm not really, but I do have tendencies.
SuChin says that often.
Yeah, I have tendencies.
Yeah.
If my mother-in-law and my husband are the same.
Really? Your husband is? Oh, how does that work?
And he's a collector.
Yeah.
And so he collects.
That's a fancy hoarder.
Yeah.
That's a hoarder with money.
100%. So the clearest and obvious things are comic books, Blu-rays, music, CDs are still coming. Tony, are you still buying CDs? You're a man of music.
No, I buy.
You're not.
I'll buy records, but I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a CD.
Those are just big CDs.
Yes.
They're still coming. Still coming. But then there'll just paperwork. I've really had to just like pare things down. Sometimes when he leaves things behind, I just put them in his office and he just has that put things in his corner. But like he is somebody who will let mounds of clothing grow and grow and grow. And he's also a Cancer. It's hard for him to let go of ideas, people, and things. His little crabby claws just holds on to everything.
I'm a Taurus, so I guess, I don't know, oh, really? I think you're more classically Taurian, right? Because I've heard people say like, oh, home must be really important to you. And like, staying home is really important to me, but the condition of it, not so much.
Do you like? But you mentioned like you want to be cozy. Do you love a throw? Do you love a pillow?
I love a heated throw. That I talk about that all the time. It's like I'm not a bath person, but I'm a heated throw person.
Wait, what do you mean by heated throw? As in an electric blanket?
An electric blanket. Yeah. Like a small electric blanket.
You know what? My daughter is a Taurus and she's all of these things. I'm learning because I'm not this person. This is very interesting. She can't be cozy enough. Like her level of coziness is
unheard to you. It's at a level you're like, really? And
it's so much work to get her cozy.
What does it involve?
Oh,
we need anatomy of your daughter's coziness.
I mean, head to toe, from the way the sock sits, the seam, the thing, her nail. She has a little cut, so then she has to have a Band-Aid around the cut, but that's not good enough. Then I have to wrap one of those like those self-adhesive, like when you sprain your ankle.
Like an ace bandage?
Yes, around her foot. And then she's not wearing sneakers anymore. She's only doing a certain type of, the joke around the family is her footwear choice can stop an entire day. 6 adults. It will bring us to our knees. The entire day will drop to its knees, and we will not be able to move on if her footwear choice is so complicated for her. But
so we are stubborn, and we want to be comfortable, and that is like relative to who we are, right? Like,
yes,
so to be uncomfortable and to go, it's not. We don't want that. We don't want to.
And you look at her and I know her so well. So I know what's going on with her physically. Like today, she had a really difficult day getting cozy, going out of the house. And I see her, she's got one of her sleeves rolled up because she has eczema on her arm. So I put the cream on, dare the fabric touch the cream, right? And then she had her pant leg up on the right side because it was too hot. So and then her hair, she's got rice bits in her hair because she won't ever brush her. It always has to be covering just, you know what I mean? Half an eyeball of hair. She looks like the ring, the child from The Ring. And she goes out and I say, that's my girl. You know what I mean? She's a complete psycho. Look at her, just moving in the world. And she doesn't care what it looks like. She doesn't care how clean it is, how dirty. She does not care. She cares only about her comfort. And so it's really interesting to hear you guys talk about a heated throw. That didn't even cross my mind that was, she would love that.
It's so Allison, it's not the neatness. It's the need to do what will make me comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this is a manifestation of what I value.
Yeah.
But it is more than anything, it's so that I am comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the Taurian trait.
Amazing.
I will not move until I want to, and I don't want to hear anybody else telling me.
Oh my God,
like, it's so the phrase for Taurus is like, it's something like the onward rush of a bull. So if you picture a bull sitting and chewing cud or grass, and you trying to move it, it won't. But when it has an idea, nothing can stop it. The rush is.
I feel like I have to send my daughter to Taurus camp with you.
I would love it. I would love it
because this poor child lives with me, and I'm on the Chinese zodiac sign, I'm a rabbit. I feel like I identify more with the rabbit than I do a Leo, which is nothing is ever fast enough for me. I'm impatient. You know what I mean? I'm done with it in about 2 seconds. I tire easily. So it's hard. Our personalities really clash. So it's interesting.
I'm so going to look that up, that you're a rabbit. Do you guys know what your Chinese zodiac is?
I don't. Is it just your birth year?
Just your year.
75. I know it's shocking because I seem so young.
You're a rabbit.
Well, you're rabbits. No, she's a dog.
No, I'm 75.
Oh, you're a rabbit too.
Allison,
okay.
we're both rabbits.
Well, because I related to what you were saying just then. I was thinking, well, that's weird though, because I'm relating to all that too.
Tony, what year?
78.
Okay, I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I can
TBD.
try to look it up.
All right, you look it up. I'm a monkey, and I'm very much a monkey.
What are monkeys
Very
known for?
handsy.
Creative, handsy, very, think they're clever, the energy. I mean, I'm a monkey.
Wait, what do you mean by handsy?
Well, I'm very tactile. And also I am handsy, and
Like you touch people a lot?
I touch things too. Like I'm the person that if there are anything to be touched, I will touch. Do you know what I mean? Like, sure. I'm at a store and there's a sample and I'm just like, I'm just touching. I'm always touching things and textures and I'm very hands-on. And this is not the time to be that way. Luckily, it's COVID and I have been Me Too'd.
That's right. Tony, have you found out what you are?
I am a horse.
Aha.
What are they known for?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to know that part too?
I
Let's see here.
threw it out lest anyone knows. It's okay if not. I should say, I'm not super into astrology or the Chinese zodiac. Are you guys?
I obviously am, and maybe the only one here.
No, but I find it interesting.
I am interested in anything about how any sort of modality or different viewpoint of how I can fix my broken self. And I'm interested in that. That is for me will be a lifetime journey of just self-awareness and how to do better and how I can be personally responsible for the things that I do. And so, astrology is just kind of one thing that it's become a way to understand myself and to have compassion for other people.
Right. So, Kulap, what has been your relationship with your family since Origin Story?
Closer with my mom and certainly my sisters. The sisters that I grew up with, we remain as close as ever. Me and my mom have mended our relationship.
Really? That's amazing because I know both from the documentary and from having you on my podcast a couple times, you guys had a really fraught relationship.
Yes, very much so. And it's a really easy, breezy one now. I'm very thankful and grateful for that. I still haven't spoken to my birth father since we fell apart.
When he asked for money, right?
He asked for me to invest in a weed farm that he would start. Well, it is funny. It is very funny. And sign the put my name
right.
in the
And then
documents
he became sort of hostile when you didn't want to, right?
Yes, and manipulative.
Yeah.
And emotionally manipulative. And luckily I had, I'd been trained by my mom from her emotional manipulation of how to recognize it and deal with it and set very firm boundaries.
How did you I don't even know to what extent you can answer this, but I'm curious how you mended your relationship with your mom.
I think once the documentary came out and I felt safe enough to have her in my space, and her behavior is truly very different. She's completely toned down. She's really almost, her behavior is almost different to a sad space because she's unfortunately she's not as gregarious as she used to be. It seems for health reasons, and there was a scare where I had to get her from Laos because she had fallen into a coma because she's diabetic, and she was acting like she was eating and acting and behaving as a person who doesn't have diabetes in a third world country and did not bring her meds or her CPAP machine. And fell into a coma. Was induced into a coma, and we had to go get her. And I think that was a turning point for her. I think she felt a lot of shame that we all went and got her. My sisters were right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of shame there. There was a lot of shame from her family there too, because she's the oldest, and I think she lost some face there.
Mm-hmm.
And they still, of course, love her. We all love her, but I think I think everybody saw what was happening and what it was, what the reality was. And so she has calmed down tremendously. I do miss my mom's humor.
Yeah.
That I miss a lot. But she lives with my sister now, and I'm happy that that's the case, especially during this time that she's not by herself anymore. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, I mean, she's been out here since the documentary came out. She's visited me multiple times, and it's fun. She doesn't attack me anymore. She doesn't make comments. It's good.
That's great. When you had to go get her, was that a like drop everything panicky emergency kind of thing?
Yeah, I was told that there's a chance she wouldn't be alive by the time I reached her. It took me like 40 hours to get to her.
Oh my God.
It was the day of the election. We voted for Hillary in the morning, and it was over China, when we were crossing over China, when we found out Trump had won. And yeah, that was a rough 4 years.
Yeah.
Really rough 4 years.
Yeah. I was very pregnant with Elliot, my 4-year-old, and we went to a birthing class that night. And Daniel initially didn't want us to schedule it that night, but then it was like, well, we already know that what the outcome's going to be. So given this is the only one that has space for us, let's just go to it. And we took a break in the middle, and some of the early returns started coming back. And I just remember everyone's face. And I'm sure some people are listening thinking that that's very LA, but everyone's face just looked ashen afterwards. So
yeah. There was like one guy who cheered on the plane. It's like, wow, cool. Yeah. And yeah.
But it turned out we were all worried for nothing because he was a great president. It was 4 fantastic years.
Yeah, it wasn't worse than we ever imagined.
Definitely.
It flew by, really.
It really
Blink of an
did.
eye. Blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then your mom's sense of humor being suppressed, is that just sort of her because of what she's like, her mood these days?
Yeah, because I wondered if it was medical, but and it may be in part, but really what I see is like, there's just like a lot of heartache. My mom's just been through a lot. And I think, she just doesn't want more for herself anymore. And that's really tough to see.
Yeah.
It's like, she's not interested. I mean, she lives a really, really small life. And for somebody, since I was just a kid who had big dreams and big plans and big ideas, swung for the fences, she was a literal gambler. Like, while there's blessings in that she doesn't do that anymore, it also, unfortunately, feels a little bit like some of the life has been sucked out of her. But
that is sad. I do wonder if some of that might come back, though.
I hope so. I think it's good that she lives with her grandson, and her and Kai have such a special relationship. And for some reason, he's doing his VR games. He is set up in my mom's room, but his normal video game is in his room. But I don't know why when he's playing with other people, it's in my mom's room. And like one time my sister was like showing me a tour, and it's like, it's mom on her, it's Kai with his headphones on playing some sort of shooter, I don't know what game, with somebody else, and then mom blasting Thai dramas on her from YouTube on her iPad. And it's just two of them in a dark room doing their stories.
Immigrant grandma babysitting.
Yeah.
And SuChin, I don't know your story that well. I know you were born in South Korea, grew up in the Bay Area, and started journalism very young, right? But what was your upbringing like?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it was very typical, I think, immigrant upbringing in the sense that like we didn't have very much and my parents still don't speak any English and all of that. But then I had this like weird path, that I was taking, doing these like random TV shows when I was 16. And so, it was both a very stereotypical, upbringing, but then I had this weird part of my life that just like there's no, there was no like integration, you know what I mean? It was like me doing and being out in the world and trying to figure it out on my own. And then obviously growing up in a house where, you don't speak the language, you don't have any connection to the outside world. Everything feels scary. Everything is always on the brink of disaster. So yeah, I don't know. And you, so I think I had a very sort of, and I probably still am a pretty fractured person trying to figure out, where the two meet, so to speak. So yeah, I don't know. I relate to a lot of what Kulap is saying. And I think that's one of the reasons why we work really well together and why we laugh so much, because we both understand each other's pain to a real degree, I think.
The two parts being the sort of outward facing part of
That's
you,
right.
and how would you
And my
describe the
desk.
other one?
So this tight frame, and then what's
My
the rest?
Got it.
Yeah. It's just kind of, I mean, it's all every part of my life is that way, I think. It's the what I present, and then the real part. I mean, I got out of bed for I took, the kids to school and then got back in bed, and, I probably pulled myself together about a half hour before we all met. I just had one of those days where I was like, yeah, not going to get out of bed today. I'm going to just work from bed.
How nice that you got to drop your kids off, though, right?
Yes, for 2.5 solid hours.
Beautiful 2.5.
2.5 solid hours. I got to do that. And, but yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's particular to me. I feel like a lot of people live that way. Maybe I do it to more of an extreme. I don't know, Kulap, if you think so. I feel like you and I have talked a lot about this.
Well, I love hearing like the dichotomy of people. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
And now SuChin and I were friends, but now like every episode,
Yes.
and every day we get deeper and deeper, and so yeah, I guess that's why it made me laugh when people were responding to SuChin's desk, because I don't think it's that bad, but I think it's what people assume the way that she is, and by now, after only 17 episodes, it's like this just feels in line. Like this feels pretty.
I think everyone feels that dichotomy between who they present and who they really feel like they are inside. I think that's universal. But I do wonder if it is turned up a bit for women.
Yeah.
Tony,
yes.
you speak for all men. Do you feel this dichotomy? Well, you're an entertainer too, though. I mean, so.
Yeah. I feel like especially someone who performs, I feel like especially because I think I love performing, and like on stage is like the place that I'm the most comfortable. Like I'm not self-conscious at all. I'm not nervous at all.
Wow.
But talking to a human being one-on-one, I'm super shy and I don't know what to say to anybody. And yeah.
Tony is the drummer of a gigantic professional rock band, Motion City Soundtrack, and he has a real gold record.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't have anything gold.
There is-
Wait, except this chain. Just kidding.
There you go. I don't have a chain.
Oh, you gotta get a chain, bro.
That's next level.
I fell out. There's many reasons why I fell out of love with acting. Also, it's not like anyone was kicking down the door for Kulap Vilaysack as a co-star or a guest star. But I think because I've worked so hard in this last decade to figure out how to be me, to enter in a room and be enough. And this has been a true battle, forged in fire. That's how I feel, right?
Yeah.
And so now I don't want to be anybody but myself, for better or for worse. And I trying to be better. And sometimes I'm the worst. And mostly Scott deals with that. He gets the hottest flames. And I think about that. And part of the reason why I did fine as an actor, but part of the reason why I think I didn't get to a certain level, not necessarily in booking, but just as an actor, but connected, is that when I would look at a role and they would go, think of this actor as a model. Think of this, it's like a Kristen Schaal type. Then my head was like, oh, how do I, even though I know I'm not supposed to mimic Kristen Schaal, now I'm like, well, okay, because obviously I'm not good enough. So let me try to figure out, a shadow version of what I think they want, instead of like the best actors, I find, are people who filter it through their soul and through their bodies, and they're so alive because they've taken it down to that level, right? And I had the hardest. It was just it to the point where that was affecting all of my relationships. That belief that I wasn't good enough, or that I, was a monster, let's say, and not worthy of anyone, and that I was fooling you all and trying to control situations that you wouldn't hurt me. Let's just say that casually.
Something hypothetically, right?
Just hypothetical.
Now, is this around the time that you and Scott broke up because you weren't, my memory of your story was that you were kind of becoming too clingy and weren't bringing anything to the relationship, or was this years after that?
Where 30 would be the time when I think, no, so there's years after that. That is a manifestation of the issue. But my 30s, I think I look back at it of when I turned 30, I just didn't like where I was, who I was, the relationships, the lack thereof of intimate female relationships. And that's when I started going into the heart of it. And it all really, really does accumulate to that documentary I did. And in between has just been a variety of healing modalities, aka piling money to a middle of a room and then just setting it on fire. But some of the stuff works. And I think, and generally all the things that work in concert with me willing to look in the mirror, willing to deal with my shit, rolling up my sleeves, and wanting to just not do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's just variations on behavioral training.
I have to ask, because I'm sure people are wondering, of all the healing modalities that you spent that you set the money on fire towards, which ones would you add to cart? Which ones would you recommend? Or which ones worked for you?
Classic therapy. That has always been a baseline through everything. I like astrology for the reasons I mentioned, and it's something that I've kind of I have fun, as you mentioned, to it, but I also find it very revealing. What else? I fuck with crystals. I mean, there were things that I've done that I just can't recommend because they were they were effective, but they were painful to do. I did the Grindberger Method for years, and that is an Israeli.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a breathing somatic kind of training. And for me, it was being yelled at by an Israeli woman to breathe. And not only, I get mad at her and it's I am. Not only would I not be breathing, also my asshole would be so clenched. and I learned so much. I learned that when I would get frustrated, my left, out of nowhere, my left shoulder does go up, and I have no control. And it takes me exactly when my mom would yell at me, it's that these things and that stuff. But it was also quite it was not a pleasurable time. It was a ride, but it did work. You know, I got something out of it.
What's it called?
The Grindberger Method.
Grindberger Method.
And all of these things that I've ever done, including things like S Factor, which is your stripper fitness, and even to the Peloton that I do now, or I haven't lately, but all of it veers into like, it can get culty.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been one for a cult. So I tend to like dip in, take what I like, and then move on. The second it gets like Messiah-like, or we're just like, you know, we're buying too much merch, then I'm like, bye. But There, I don't know. I've done almost everything. I've steamed my vagine.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
What did that do for you?
That was very calming. Who knew? You know, it was very calming. It was nice to have like just to sit upon a stool or a crock pot with rose petals and essential oils with a quilt around you so that the heat can just, you know, get up that yoni.
Do you have to like spread... Tony, cover your ears. Do you have to spread the lips so that there's like a straight shot up there, or is it just you're among the steam?
You're among the steam, and you know your yoni compared to that crock pot again is, you know, that heat's gonna rise. You're gonna, you know, the thighs are getting that heat. It's an experience. I'd do it again.
Do you go somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it myself. I would worry about burning my yoni.
Yeah.
But, you know, here's the thing. Like, we could all be doing it right now. Like,
and no one would know?
No one would know. Like, from the Zoom in this recording.
Tony, you
that
could
would
be
be really cool.
Steaming your balls or your butthole.
Or your taint, Tony.
Yeah.
Your taint.
Don't forget about your taint.
Yeah, never forget about the taints.
Right. I didn't mean to be so binary.
Yeah.
Listen,
and that's what we would all have the same experience of our perineum being steamed, and that would be, I think, bonding.
Yeah.
You think so?
A group steam.
I don't see how it could not be bonding.
Like people going to a sauna together. This is like that, but wetter and less all over.
And completely dressed up top. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you guys. I want to tell you about BetterHelp. If you're having trouble meeting your goals or difficulty with relationships or trouble sleeping or you're feeling stressed or depressed, BetterHelp is available. BetterHelp offers online professional counselors who can listen and help. You simply fill out a questionnaire to assess your needs, and BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. And one of the things that I think is so great about this is if you don't like the first person that you're matched with, you can switch therapists as many times as you want, no extra charge, and they will get you to the person that you feel comfortable with. So I know that maybe right now some people are thinking, well, this sounds intriguing. I definitely have been wanting to talk to someone, but what if it's not? What if I don't feel comfortable with the person? I don't want to commit. That makes me worried. Do not worry. They will get you to the right person. Our own Allie Ward loves her therapy is via BetterHelp, and it was the second person that she got paired up with, and she loves this person. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bestfriend. Visit BetterHelp, that's betterhelp.com/bestfriend, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp professional. I also want to tell you guys about Rothy's. They are comfortable, washable, sustainable shoes and bags, and it makes getting dressed easy. Kulap and SuChin, you guys must know Rothy's, right?
I think I've seen ads for it, but I'm not familiar.
They are super duper comfortable. So the bags are more recent, but they're super duper comfortable shoes, flats. They come in like a bunch of different styles, and that you can wear them straight out of the box. You don't get blisters. Our dog, right when Rothy's came on the show, our dog walker, back in the days when the people would be in your house, was in our house, and I said, "Hey, are those Rothy's?" And she said, "Yes, they are the only shoes that I can wear while dog walking, like cute shoes that don't give me blisters." So endorsed by someone who is professionally on her feet. Also, Meghan Markle wore them, I think, in Australia.
That's right.
That's
ding,
right.
Ding, ding.
Jackie
I care
Johnson
about her now.
Jackie Johnson is super into them. She might have even gotten married in them. They are made out of recycled plastic water bottles. And when I first heard that, I thought, well, I don't want crunchy shoes. They're not. They feel like soft fabric. It is crazy the way they do this. People do collect them though, and they are introducing new styles and colors all the time. So go find what you want now and then buy it, and then you'll want to start collecting them too. But they do sell out, is what I'm saying. CNN said Rothy's are the comfiest slip-on shoe I've ever owned, period. Check out all the amazing shoes, bags, and masks available right now at rothys.com/Allison. That's rothys.com, rothys.com/Allison. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/Allison today. Okay, I think we should do a round of Hey, Go, Fuck Yourself. This is where we tell someone or something to get lost. And there's someone I'm thinking of. And Tony, and does everyone here have someone or something they would like to give the business to?
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, you can go first.
Oh, okay. Mine is very lame old man of me, but I'm just gonna embrace how old I'm starting to feel, because now when I go out driving, which is rare these days, but go out and drive, I'm blown away by oblivious drivers. The people just like swerving into your lane, or the big one that really makes me feel like an old person. No turn signal drives me.
I knew you were going to say
insane.
that.
Yeah, it drives me insane. So
It's courteous
And it's not
the
safe.
law.
and
it's
also
not
like
safe.
how hard is that?
Yeah,
You literally
it's just this gesture.
you flick your fingers and that's it.
You
And
turn
it's
on the
especially-
light, you turn it off. Same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And
that turn
wait-
signal, I feel like it says everything about you. Am I wrong? I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong. I need to know nothing else about you other than like you do not turn your turn signal on. I agree with you, Tony.
What conclusion do you draw from a non-turn signaler?
You're a self-obsessed narcissist, or
Psychopath.
something like that. Just something in that general vein.
Right. Just massive personality disorder.
Yes.
Yep.
It's especially annoying leaving my place, because when I get to the main street, the cars coming the other way, I would say like 90% of those are turning. But every now and then
Yep.
one is going straight, and it's so rare they even use them. So that's all. People that don't use their turn signals, I got a message for you.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Oh, I was confused for a second because I was thinking, but the one who's going straight, they don't need a signal. But you're saying they all need to be using their signals so you can know which one is actually turning and which one's going straight. I
Yes,
hear what
'cause
you're saying.
I'm usually turning, and every now and then someone might go straight, but
Right.
almost nobody uses their signal at that light.
Well, I do hope they're all listening.
Oh, I'm sure.
And if they are, I hope they'll rate, review, and subscribe and tell their friends.
yeah, I've
and-
been hanging up signs in the neighborhood to do that.
Thank you. In our neighborhood, there is a house where you walk by and there are signs for her podcast. I swear to God. I haven't seen it in a really long time because we used to take family walks at the beginning of the pandemic. And for like a week and a half, I was like, it's my favorite part of the day. And then it turned into my least favorite part of the day because my then 3-year-old had to stop like every 3 seconds. And it just became very frustrating. And now I don't leave the house ever, but there's a house. I believe I've mentioned it on the show before. The podcast is called Rita's World. It's like REITA. She's an older lady. She interviewed someone who hung her wallpaper, but she's a former actress, and she was married to someone who had the best name. I gotta look it up, who she was married to, because I was like delighted. Like his name was Buttons or something. Let me see. Rita Greene, the wallpaper queen. That's who she is. And former movie starlet from the 1950s. Okay, I got to look up Rita Greene to see who this dude was. But anyway, she just has signs around her house telling people about her podcast.
Oh my God, I love it. I love the marketing chutzpah.
Doodles Weaver. That was her husband, Doodles Weaver.
Yes, it was. Doodles. Oh, Doodles.
I love it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's very good. That was worth it. I'm glad that's good.
That was a moment of levity in the midst of us telling people off. Kulap, what about you?
Fuck you, sugar and carbs. You're delicious. But I can't have you anymore because I am highly insolent. No, I am insolent. I am insulin resistant, and I have a fatty liver. So all carbs turn into sugar and go straight to my liver. And I'm mad at you. I'm very mad at you, and specifically sugar and carbs of Tate's cookies because they are threatening their workers who are undocumented that if they are to unionize, that they will be deported.
Oh, wow.
No.
So fuck you, delicious Tate's cookies. Even though I can't have you, Tony.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
So now, am I right that you wear a device that like teleports your info to your nutritionist or something?
Yeah, I'll show it to you guys. It's a little disc that was stamped into my arm that I wear for a week or 2 weeks and then switch to another one. And so instead of like, I'm pre-diabetic, but instead of like pricking your finger, there's a needle that it's embedded in my arm. So then I scan it with my phone. And it tells me what my glucose levels are. And my nutritionist has access to that. So, I like I say, I can lie, but this won't.
Did it hurt when they put that in?
I put it in myself. That's the worst part of it. And the first time, and it's a stamp. You stamp it in. And she was like, do it. I was like, mm-mm.
Wait, what does that mean? What do you mean? Oh, you mean like it like goes...
Yeah, it looks like a stamp.
Oh my God.
Basically, and you push it down into your arm. And you try to get you get the fat. Like you get the fat and that'll be that'll feel a lot less painful. So the first time I did it myself, it didn't hurt. And then when I put this new one in, for 1 hour, I was trying to psych myself into pushing it, and I put on different playlists to just psych myself into pushing it in, and I just couldn't do it. So I had Scott do it, but he did it way too hard. Like he shoved it
into
my arm, and I just was like, screaming. But then it's fine.
How long is the needle?
It's not that long. It's not that thick either, but it is like, it's meant to measure your blood. I have a photo of it because I kept looking at it like, God, can you see it?
Kind of.
The needle?
Oh, yeah. There's like a probe on the end.
Yeah, that's what, so that's the stamp. And so you pushing that in.
Does it have two needles? Is that like a dual thing?
Just one.
Okay.
One. Guy in the middle.
I still wouldn't want it.
Yeah. And now this is my life. And so, just really dealing with that. I had major sugar withdrawal.
I bet. Yeah.
But now head's clear. So maybe, as I said to SuChin, it'll stick. We'll see.
And is this related to fertility or separate from fertility?
Well, there's thoughts that might be connected, and that's a possibility. It certainly is a big part of the rapid weight gain that I've had in the last 4 years. They're like, well, so you've kind of gained 10 pounds. Or no, I was at 30 pounds in 2 years. And before that, I was like 30 pounds in a year. Like it's, so my body can't process all that. I was like, all my raw material was very carb and sugar heavy.
Right. But I mean, are you paying attention to this? Did you discover this in the pursuit of fertility stuff or like separately?
No, it's separately. My my A1C numbers are high. My ALT, my my liver, all that. So it's a separate issue that could be connected.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, I think you're brave because you have a needle that lives in your arm.
Yeah.
And I did IVF, so I've had needles, and yet
I
that
was
is
just gonna
bumping
say,
me.
That's the thing is like, we just did another round of IVF and it's so painful, and truly just to throw it out there, bonus, fuck you to Menopur.
Yes.
I hate Menopur. It is powder of
A fire
the
ant.
urine of a of a woman who has what is the term? She is when you don't have your period anymore. Sorry.
Oh,
Menopausal.
she's gone through menopause.
Yeah. So
That's what it actually
tighten
is.
that up.
That's what it actually is. Menopausal woman's urine.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Well, why
That's
does
the
it burn
burn.
so much then? Because I guess
Well,
it's 'cause
she's
it's urine.
mad. Yeah. She's not happy.
Anyway, sorry, I'm taking up too much time.
No,
per
you're
usual.
not. You are never taking up too much time. Wait, is it human menopausal woman's urine? Really? I never
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
Who do they get it from?
Yeah, I know. And maybe when I'm there, I'm gonna sign just for some weird one-sided revenge.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Do you
anyone,
want my pee?
I think everyone who's gone through IVF will know what we're talking about. People who don't, there's one particular very common medication that just really stings when you inject it. I found that like the slower I injected it, the more I could tolerate it. If it did it really fast, then it's like a bee sting. But I had no idea that's what it was. Wow,
Yeah.
gross. I think Premarin, which is like a cream, is pregnant mare's urine. I remember learning that. Who
Oh.
knew urine had so many, you know, uses?
Jellyfish bites.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making babies.
SuChin's poise pads. You know what speaking of all of this, I was wondering, and I'm sure there's a very easy, like I'm sure I could Google it and get the answer. But given that if you have a vaginal delivery, the baby exits your vagina, not your pee-pee hole. So why is it that after you give birth, you're leaking urine? Like, why is that hole loose too?
I don't know. All my holes are pretty loose, but but let's be honest, they were pretty loose even before babies. But I think it's something about maybe pushing that the muscles get maybe stretched out.
I guess so. It's all right, because it's all the muscle
no
tone.
idea. No,
Yeah.
I actually don't have any idea why that is.
No, and I've been wondering it for days now, but not enough to actually look it up. So I will just wonder till some listener lets me know, probably. ARIYNBFshow@gmail.com. Okay, and SuChin, what's your hey, go fuck yourself?
Well, mine's a little bit more outward facing. I think today, Hey Go Fuck Yourself is dedicated for me to Sharon Osbourne. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
I
latest
did not, but I
controversy.
saw someone tweet something like, you know what Sharon rhymes with? And I was like, ooh, what does Sharon Stone do?
Oh, she said so. Hopefully.
I know.
Oh, Osborne.
What'd she do?
Well, I think it's the whole thing related to, I don't know if you were following the Meghan and Harry interview, and then Piers Morgan, like a big baby, stormed off of his set.
Yeah, and
After
quitting.
his co-anchor had said that he was being insensitive to the racist and sexist remarks that Meghan has been, on the other end of. And Sharon is famously very good friends with Piers, and she defended his actions on her talk show, and her African-American co-host then had to explain to her what racism was, where then Sharon got very defensive and lectured her. I mean, it was a crazy conversation.
Wow.
And then her co-host was crying, and Sharon goes, "Why are you crying? I should be the one crying." So she said it.
Okay, wow. I didn't see that. I thought it was tweets, and then I saw her apology. I didn't know that this all
Oh
happened.
no, you have to
on her
listen to the whole conversation.
I don't
It's
know if
crazy.
I gotta go watch that.
It's really, it's pretty jaw dropping. And then, of course, she apologized, but she apologized in the way that she said that she was panicked. And I'm sorry, but you can't be panicked into a years-long friendship with someone who's as despicable as that human being and somehow be excused. So anyway.
And I feel like she brought up free speech or something like that.
They all bring up
It's
free
like,
speach.
it's
That's
so
the thing that they all go to, and he's entitled to his opinion and that sort of thing. And I just think that, you know, anyone that has the audacity to look at someone who is from that community and say your pain, validate it for me, explain it to me, teach me, is just, no, fuck you. It's just not happening anymore for me.
Sharon.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
I'm going to have to go watch this, but what was she supposedly panicked over?
Being called a racist.
Yes.
Oh.
I think she was she said she was panicked in that she said a bunch of things that were pretty terrible in the moment. It's a live talk show. And then later on, of course, as she saw the backlash,
Right.
she said she was panicked. And that's what that was. That wasn't years of friendship with a man who is notorious and builds his reputation on being pretty nasty, and especially nasty to women, and especially nasty to Meghan Markle, and especially nasty to women of color. And he'll continue to get big jobs. You know, they're already talking about his next big gig, and he's not backing down. He's doubling down because he has a lot of, I'm sure, his fans and people in the media industry that really profit from his bombastic and often very wrong point of view. And he'll continue to do that because he gets paid lots of money to do it, and people love it.
And his history is tabloids, which, as we learned from that, like there's been a lot of talk lately of just how awful the British tabloids are.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
oof.
Yeah. And I just think it's, it's just, you know, whether you're, whichever side you're on, it doesn't, I don't really, you know, I don't know that much about the British monarchy, but are we surprised that there's racism in a system that is built on
Racism.
colonial
Right.
history? I mean, it's just like, come on. You know what I mean? We can say, you know, it isn't great and we can move from there, but let's not pretend that doesn't exist. So to me, it's the pretending, it's the erasure of history that is also like, fuck off, you know?
Right. I don't know if you guys saw on CBS, I think it's called CBS This Morning, where Gail is one of the co-hosts. Oprah was on the next morning.
Yeah.
And she was asked, were you shocked? Like the revelation that there was concern in the royal family about the skin tone of Meghan and Harry's children.
Archie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, first it was like it was about Archie, but then I think what I was going to say is I think it came out that that conversation started when they were just girlfriend and boyfriend about like what will your children look like. But then actually it was that apparently there were several conversations. So probably it started general. Then it was specifically going to be about what's, you know, how dark is Archie's skin tone going to be. And so they asked Oprah, were you shocked that this had happened, or were you shocked that you were being told about it? And she said, it was interesting. She said, I was shocked that they were telling me about it. Like, not shocked at all that conversation happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, it wasn't shocking to me.
Yeah.
It is shocking to hear. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
Okay. So usually my hey, go fuck yourselves are very petty. This one, though, is a little more noble, I suppose. However, I spend too much time looking at Nextdoor, and I saw this post, and the subject was very disappointed to see this sign today: gross waste of taxpayer dollars. And there's a middle school in Burbank, and this is what I'm not paying attention to all this, but what I've gleaned from the post is it used to be called David Starr Jordan Middle School, and they changed it to Dolores Huerta Middle School. And so then I was looking at the comments, and then this one woman, and I won't give her name, but it is a Karen-y sounding name. Although I have to say, if either of my boys had been a girl, I've always liked the name Karen, and I wanted to give one of them the name Karen. My husband was not a fan, but I'm so glad that didn't happen because look what's happened to that name. Anyway, okay, so here's her comment. So absurd to waste money to change the name of a school. Who are we catering to in this country? Is this still America?
Oh, God.
And I read that and I just wanted to punch her. I don't know. It bothered me not on it bothered me on a very a primitive emotional level, not a intellectual, not an intellectual level at all. It's just so, wait, sorry, what'd you say?
That's the app. That's what it does to people.
Yes, that's right.
I had to cut myself off. I just finally stopped my account. It was driving me crazy too. I was engaging with people that what am I doing?
Yes. My half of a day of mine was ruined because I made some comment and then someone basically tone policed my comment. And I was like, you I mean, I didn't say this, but I was like, she purposefully misunderstood what I meant.
Yeah.
But maybe tone police is not the right way I don't know. I'll tell you guys what that situation was. It was an African-American healthcare worker went into a store in Burbank and was treated really poorly and wondered if maybe it had to do with race. And so he wrote about that. And so, most people, 99% of the people's reaction was that's awful. And I said, something like, that's so awful, especially right now. Thank you so much for your service. And someone's like, it's not just awful right now. It's awful that it happened at all. But more cunty than that even.
Yeah,
and I was like, did you really think I was saying that at any other time this would be okay? And then I thought, and then I went and I looked up her name and I'm like, who is this bitch? And I was like, what am I doing?
I know.
It's so dangerous, that next door.
So dangerous. Yeah.
Maybe my ire should be directed at next door as opposed to just, hey, particular lady and also next door.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
That felt good.
This
You
is
guys,
nice. This is really good. I like this.
It's been so nice having you on the show. Thank you for coming on. Tell everyone where to find you, plug anything you'd like to plug, etc.
You can check us out at Add to Cart Pod for all of our shenanigans on Instagram, and I'm at Kulap on Twitter and at I am Kulap on Instagram.
And
Wonderful.
I'm at SuChin Pak on Twitter and Instagram.
And if you guys excuse me. As I said before, if you like what you're hearing, please rate, review, subscribe. That helps out the show so much. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/AllisonRosen. And I am on Patreon. Bonus episodes, weekly, Zoom parties, behind the scenes content, videos. So much access to me. You'll beg me to leave you alone. I'm also on Cameo, and I do another podcast with Greg Fitzsimmons called Childish. It's our parenting-ish podcast. And please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Allison Rosen. Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at Tony Thaxton. My podcast, Bizarre Albums, every Tuesday. And also just came out, there's a new EP by Justin Pierre, who is the lead singer of Motion City Soundtrack. He just put out a solo record. I played drums on that as well, and that's now streaming everywhere. So check that out.
You play all the drums everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
You guys, thank you so much. Listeners, thank you for listening. You matter. I love you. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?